thought I'd film something slightly different today because, yeah, I've got a little story to tell for you. But first of all, I need to get changed. So, now I'm not actually a waiter at a restaurant, but this story is, well, it's not video game related at all, so different for me. But this is the time I was actually on a game show. So, I've got a little to tell you the story. So it was about, what was it, 2013? My good friend Russell, who I've known a long time and I work with on the Day 66 movie, gave me a phone call, and it was just really random. And he goes, "We've got a guy drop out of our team," and I'm like, "Team for what?" Turns out that they'd actually just been to Bristol from some auditions with the BBC for a new game show called Pressure Pad. I'd never heard of it, and I'd imagine the majority of you who actually have jobs wouldn't have heard of it either, because it was on, I think, at 3 o'clock. So, where they'd gone to the auditions and had a guy drop out, I then had to fill the void. But they don't just let you on the BBC. They just, because just in case you're a Looney Tune. So what I had to do was I had to do I think it was like a 1-2 minute audition, but just talking into the camera. And then submit that to the BBC because they've got these researchers. So that's exactly what I did. Back then I wasn't as comfortable with talking into a camera than I am now, so I probably would have come across as mega awkward, but nevertheless they let me on. So the day came, they bought us some tickets to fly us up to BBC in Scotland, in Glasgow. Problem was the flight was at, I think it was Gatwick, at 7 o'clock in the morning. I nearly missed the flight, somehow got out and the door shut in front of me. Flew up to Scotland. I don't even like flying. Bear in mind here, the context was I was actually going to wear exactly what I did on that day, but I can't find my orange tie. If you're wondering why the orange tie is significant, is the flight they booked for us with flipping EasyJet. So I look like one of the stewards. So yeah, I know, I'm expecting EasyJet comments. At the bottom, fine, bring it on. I'm comfortable with it. To be honest, Russ was like one of my best friends, but I didn't really know any of the other guys. I met like the team captain Mark before, like once, I think, at like Russell's birthday for a curry or something. So yeah, we didn't really know each other as much as we alluded to on the actual show itself. But it was yeah, we ran through all the different kinds of games. I was sort of like, yeah, we didn't know me, but I did say, look, as long as I don't get multiple choice, I'm okay. I've done pub quizzes a long time. I'm not saying I'm like mega clever, but I've won quite a few pub quizzes before, so I thought, give it a go. The idea for the attire was it was total psych out, because I thought if I look really clever, it'll throw them off their game. But well, I'll put the footage up for it anyway, so you can see. But it was very nerve-wracking, because once you'd gone through makeup, and they spent ages in makeup just trying to stop me having a shiny face, and you don't realise actually how shiny your face is until you don't have makeup on. I'm not saying I sit there wearing makeup, but it was just basically they put this emulsion over your face. Again, nerves took control. I want to go out for a fag. One of the floor staff had to come out with you to make sure you're not cheating. I don't know how, because you kind of surrender your mobile phones anyway, but I had a big old name badge with my name on it. You just sit there and think, oh, this is real. But going out the front for a cigarette, you realise there's people queuing up, and I'm like, they're there to watch the show, and I'm like, I didn't realise it was a live audience. It was one thing to be broadcast on the TV. It wasn't live. I mean, it took a while to get edited, but it's another thing to realise there's a load of random people in the audience who are going to watch you. That's terrifying. I mean, I'm walking past them with this flipping name badge on, and I'm like, okay, a little bit self-conscious. But anyway, over to the game show. I mean, Russ was up first. Russ, bless him, was absolutely bang on, because he got films. Now, if you guys don't know my friend Russell, he's a massive film buff. I mean, this guy knows everything about, well, most things about films, because he watches a lot and he's really passionate about it, and I admire that. At least he got films in his round. I mean, granted, after that, the one he got was again, multiple choice. You go stand on the right bit and select your question. What question round did I get? I got flipping multiple choice. I mean, like mega multiple choice. Again, I'll put the footage up for it. But it's only when you kind of go on TV do you realise actually how relatively fake it is. I mean, I've always, like, if you watch like Eggheads or something like that, they over-explain the question, and I thought, what bloody know-it-all is that? I now realise that you're told to do that. We were actually told beforehand, when you don't just go and answer the question, you explain why you arrived at that question. You explain why that question, you know, your thought process, you've got to talk out loud. So it just sounds like you're rabbiting. I mean, I rabbit anyway, so that was no problem for me. But, yeah, it was... I went up on... I think we won the coin toss. I went up and it was... What was the first question? It was on, like, the Olympics. Now, London 2012 was literally the year before. With the Olympics just happening, you'd think, you know, that would be the subject matter, but it didn't transpire that way. And I ended up thinking that Colin Jackson got a gold medal at the Olympics, and he didn't. So thanks, Colin. Try harder. Next round was music, and I thought, right, okay, I'm going to get slaughtered here. 80s music. Okay, all right. Number ones which were in the 80s, I think I just got lucky because my opponent happened to choose a song in the 70s. Trying to keep a poker face when you can kind of look at it and you think, I think that's wrong, and not make it obvious that you know that they're going to get it wrong is actually really, really hard. I ended up therefore winning that round, so a kind of a sudden death ensued. And my opponent was a lady. Now, I'm not being sexist here. The two other ones we had left was animals or space travel. And let's be honest, I don't know animals. If it's dinosaurs, I'll have a stab at it. But it's going to be, name these breeds of dog. Name the following kind of cat or something, or birds. I'm not going to have a clue. And I just look stupid. So, tactically, space travel. Now, it ended up being, the question being, the following people walked on the moon. Fair enough. You've got Neil Armstrong. You got Buzz Aldrin. What the fuck do you do next? I don't have a clue. So I guessed. And I guessed wrong. And Michael Collins, I knew, was on the same expedition as the aforementioned. He just didn't get out the damn plane. Why would you go to the moon and not get out? That's like, you know, it's like driving, you know, like flying through country. You stop over in Hong Kong. Now, you know what? I'm going to stay on the plane. It's daft, but oh well, it's done now. Eliminated. I think the disappointment in my face was quite obvious, to be honest. But that was an experience. It was a real eye-opening experience for me, because I didn't really appreciate actually how false television was. I mean, John Barrowman was the host of it. I know him from Torchwood. You see him on TV all the time. What I didn't realise is when the cameras aren't rolling is how Scottish he is. And I don't know if he's putting that on or not, but we all associate him with that chirpy American accent, don't we? But as soon as the cameras were off, it was like Ramsay Nesbitt. And I'm like, what? I just don't get it. I don't know if it's because we were in Scotland and he's playing up to the crowd. Apparently he grew up in Scotland and that's his real accent, and I don't know anymore. But I mean, we didn't really get to meet him. They did do the only time I got to speak to him was actually in front of the cameras, and they before editing, they talk to you. You have a story and you actually have a good 5-minute natter with him, and then they choose to edit it out. In my case, they edited the whole bastard lot out. I mean, the actual original has literally nothing of what I said to him. He asked, so I'll tell you now what I talked about. He asked me, I'd literally just got engaged. I mean, it was a while ago because I'm married now. He asked me about getting engaged. I'd actually told the story of how I asked my wife to marry me. That's a nice heartwarming story, because this is where the researchers, they ask you questions. See, then they ask you about your interests, and as someone who plays a piano and a keyboard, I own a guitar. So he asked me about that. And I went on and said, you know, one of my favourite bands is like Dragon Force. Now, obviously, that's not going to appeal to the wider market, to the average person who watches game shows at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So they cut the whole thing out. They did have some bloke beforehand singing, badly, can I mention? No disrespect. You know, balls for you for doing it on TV. But they left that entire section on and then just totally axed the section with me. Now, I'm not gonna try and complain too much about it, but I mean, clearly the producers didn't like me. I mean, going back to the sort of fakeness of it, the set we were at was just kind of crude MDF, sort of cut together at right angles, and I remember me being me, I leant on it, and the floor manager came bombing it up, like yelling in my face, telling me it's not a bar, and I was like, I'll make it sturdy. Don't make it look like you can lean on it, though. I mean, you realise it is literally all a facade. I mean, cut a long story short, because I've probably run out of footage by now. Yeah, we didn't win. I think I got, what, 3 questions right in the entire quiz? I mean, I didn't feel I really did myself justice. Would I do it again? I don't know. Probably not. It's kind of one of those bucket list things. To be on a game show. Again, I think I said that on the thing, but they cut me out. Bastards. But yeah, if I've done it now. I mean, I've always wanted to go on Pointless. I mean, I'm terrible for yelling at the TV, but I don't do that anymore, because I actually know, when the lights are on you, the cameras are on you, and there's a studio audience full of OAPs watching every move that you make. You can't even, you know, if you've got an itchy nose, you just put up with it, because you don't want to be seen picking your nose on television, do you? But that's basically my story. It was, yeah, we lost. I look stupid. I thought I was smart. I'm not. But it does make a good story, and it's something kind of different. And it's something I can say I've done before now. So yeah, that was it. As always, if you come this far, thank you very much for listening to my story. I thought I'd just try something different for a change. It's been a while since I filmed a vlog. Please check out the other videos and channels. I do other vlogs where I just talk about random nonsense which aren't ending with video games or magic. I mean, actually I do look a little bit like a magician now at the moment, now I think about it. But yeah, if you like what I'm doing, please come subscribe to me, because I mean, certainly, I mean, retro games are my main thing. I do absolutely cane through them, but you know, I like to share stories as well. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good night. Cheers. Peace out. Bye.